Council meeting, Tuesday, February 10th, 2026. Join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The Open Meetings Act is over there on the west wall. Is there any comments by the public? Yep. Please state your name.
Deb Akins. Good evening, Mayor and council members. My name is Deb Akins, and my husband Joe and I serve as vendor coordinators for Sydney for Panhandle Frontier Fines. I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you briefly tonight and share what this project is about and how your support can make a meaningful difference for our community. Panhandle Frontier Finds is a regional shopping and tourism event that connects all 11 counties in the Nebraska Panhandle. The event will take place on June 5th through the 7th. The goal is simple but powerful. We help communities highlight their local vendors, small businesses, museums, and gathering spaces while encouraging visitors to travel throughout the region. It is not just a sale or a market. It is an organized effort to bring people into our towns, support local entrepreneurs, and showcase the unique character of each community. From a local standpoint, Panhandle Frontier Finds provides several benefits. First, it drives economic activity. Visitors stop for fuel, meals, lodging, and shopping. Second, it gives small businesses and individual sellers an affordable way to gain visibility they might not have otherwise. Third, it promotes community pride by encouraging residents and leaders to work together to present their town in the best possible light. As a vendor coordinator, our role is to help local sellers register, answer questions, make sure information is correct and organized. We have already received a call from a gentleman in Weatherford, Texas, who's planning on bringing a trailer along with his friends from Texas and Iowa to venture onto the Panhandle Frontier Finds Trail. They've already booked a hotel, and we also found out from them that the hotel they booked is already full. That weekend is a busy one for Sydney with cruising night on Friday night, Girls' Day Out on Saturday, and the Wood and Bat Tournament all 3 days. With community support, we can strengthen local businesses, attract visitors, and continue building positive momentum for our city and the surrounding area. Thank you for your time.
Yep, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like a great event. Is there any more comments? Please state your name.
Ethan Nelson. Good evening. Thank you for allowing me to speak this evening. My name is Ethan Nelson. I'm the director of the Western Library System, one of Nebraska's 4 regional library systems. Our role is to provide training, continuing education, and professional support to public, school, and academic libraries across the state. I wish to speak tonight concerning agenda item number 9, consideration of updates to ordinances under Chapter 268. The memorandum for this agenda item states that the City Council may choose to revise Chapter 268 to establish the Library Board as an advisory board. Under this structure, the Library Board would serve only in an advisory capacity, with final administrative authority resting with the city's governing body and administration. Before making such a drastic change, I would like to ask if there are any underlying reasons driving this agenda item. If there is an underlying reason relating to the board's governance or management of the library, perhaps that issue can be addressed without resorting to changing the structure of the board. I believe it would be beneficial for the City of Sydney, the community, and the Sydney Public Library for the Library Board to remain a governing body. The Sydney Public Library Board was founded under Nebraska Revised Statutes, Chapter 51. For that reason, any transition from a governing board to an advisory board would represent a major restructuring of the library's operations, not simply an adjustment of policies. This kind of restructuring would have negative impacts on the library and the community the library serves. A governing library board is an asset to the city and the library. As a governmental unit, the board focuses solely on the library, library-related issues, and improving library services for the community. Because of this focus, the Library Board provides institutional memory and stability. The board is able to support long-term planning, evaluate staff, provide guidance for applying for grants, update technology, improve the library facilities, while keeping in mind what is best for the community of library users in Sydney. Governing library boards also handle issues that are unique to libraries. For example, boards make decisions about material reconsideration requests. That is, when a patron requests that an item be removed from the library. Boards also address issues involving patron behaviors, meeting room use, and public internet access. These can become sensitive and even emotionally charged issues. A governing board provides a structured process for handling these situations through established policies and procedures, and it creates a buffer that protects both library staff and the city when controversial issues arise. This leads to my next point. A governing library board significantly reduces the city's workload in administering the library. The library board establishes and regularly reviews library policies. They approve the library's material selection policy. They participate in the long-term library strategic planning. They engage in professional library organizations. They address patron behavior issues. They evaluate personnel. If the board became an advisory board, many of these responsibilities would shift directly to the city council and administration. Governing boards are also trained and knowledgeable governing units. The Sydney Public Library Board is a certified library board under the Nebraska Library Commission's Library Board Certification Program. Certified library boards must complete at least 20 hours of continuing education activities every 3 years. Board certification is also tied to accreditation through the Nebraska Library Commission, which is an important measure of quality and accountability for Nebraska public libraries. Advisory boards must also be certified for the purposes of accreditation. However, a trained, certified governing library board is best equipped to understand and act on the unique issues involved in library governance, including policy development, intellectual freedom policies, patron privacy, and understanding professional library standards. Governing boards also carry legitimacy when applying for grants, working with donors, collaborating with Friends of the Library groups, and supporting library foundations. A governing board gives the community a sense that the library is being guided by a representative group of citizens whose sole focus is the library. Finally, I'd encourage the council to ask, what problem would a change to an advisory board attempt to solve? If the library is operating effectively under a trained and certified governing board and a well-functioning library staff, restructuring the board risks creating instability without a clear benefit. For these reasons, I respectfully urge the City Council to keep the Sydney Public Library Board as a governing board. Thank you.
Is there any more? Okay. Approval of council minutes, January 27th, 2026. Is there a motion?
I'll motion to approve the council minutes from January 27th, 2026.
Second.
Kirkman.
Kirkman.
Yes.
Coons.
Yes.
Bondegaard.
Yes.
Radcliffe.
Abstain.
Lee.
Yes.
Motion passes. Housing Authority Board appointment, Josh.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. Josh Hanson, Interim City Manager. Jennifer Halligan submitted her application for the Housing Authority Board. The Housing Authority meets every other month at 12 p.m. at Western Heritage or Sioux Villa. The board consists of 5 members who are appointed by City Council. The term is 5 years, and the Housing Authority is responsible for the administration of Sioux Villa and Western Heritage. Some background information. The position of that Housing Authority Board has been advertised, and Jennifer being the only applicant that we've recently received. Some of her experiences include 4 years with the Fort Morgan Chamber, 1 year as president, and then 2 years with the Fort Morgan Lions Club, and executive board 1 year. She is a mortgage and consumer loan officer at Sydney Federal, It is a recommendation that Jennifer Halligan, and I apologize if I pronounced your last name wrong, be appointed to the Housing Authority Board. Alternatives would be continuing advertising for the position. And I apologize, I don't know if Jennifer's here today at all. Same thing? Nope. All right.
Okay, so the main thing here that I have a question on, and I don't know if anybody has the answer to this, but the open spot on the board has to be a resident of Sioux Villa or Western Heritage. So it's the way that the board is set up. And I apologize for not bringing this up for the meeting here, but 5 members. One requirement is to have a city council member, and then another requirement is the person must be a tenant of either Western Heritage or Sioux Villa. And so the spot that's open has to be a tenant.
Okay, that makes
Right.
sense, yeah.
So,
Good information to have.
yeah, so if Jennifer doesn't live there, then we can't have her on the board.
Sure. And I'm not
As of right now.
100% sure, I'd have to look
Unless,
into that.
unless the position open up,
Yeah.
right, down the
Yep.
road. But
Absolutely.
as of right
Okay.
now.
I'll go back and verify that because I'm not 100% sure of
What's
her
that?
actual residence. I said I'm not 100% sure if she resides in Sioux Villa or the Housing Authority. On that.
Yeah.
Her application says Sawgrass Street.
Okay.
She does
So
not.
there's our answer for that.
Okay.
Thank you.
She's the one to get on the board, I guess. There's other boards she can get on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep, for sure. So I guess I'll just go ahead and motion to continue advertising for the open position.
Perfect.
Is there a
Can we
second?
make sure we stipulate that in the advertisement?
I'll
Ken?
second that.
Okay.
Those residency requirements?
Okay.
Thank you.
Wait,
Do we need to vote? Can I ask a question on that, though? If people continue to move out of there, how does that affect it?
Well, Western Heritage is included in
Oh,
there,
Western
too.
Heritage, okay.
Yeah, so Western
Okay,
Heritage
that's-
is at
okay.
like 90-some% occupancy, so, I talked to Scott McDaniel, so he's the board president, and, he's gonna try to reach out, to the former person and see what's going on there, and then just try to drive more, I guess, the management needs to do a better job of trying to recruit somebody, I guess, to get in there.
do we need a vote on that, or?
Yes, we have a motion and a second.
Okay.
Okay.
Coons.
Yes.
Bondegard.
Yes.
Radcliffe.
Yes.
Lee.
Yes.
Bergman.
Yes.
EDCAC reappointment.
Right. The Economic Development Citizens Advisory Review Committee currently consists of 7 members. The Economic Development Plan provides for committee membership to range from 5 to 10 members. Amanda Pop previously served on the Economic Development Citizens Advisory Review Committee, and her 4-year term has expired. During her tenure, Ms. Pop has been an active and engaged member of the community, regularly attending meetings and providing valuable insight and expertise that have helped shape the economic landscape of Cheyenne County. Amanda Pop has expressed interest in continuing her service and is willing to serve an additional 4-year term on the committee to further support the economic development efforts. So is my recommendation that council approve the reappointment of Amanda Pop to the Economic Development Citizens Advisory Committee for a term of another 4 years.
Is there a motion or questions?
I'll make that motion.
Do we have to advertise that position available? Or is it, can it go
We've
right?
constantly, we have up to 10
Okay.
and we only have 7, so
Okay.
we're constantly advertising the position. So the next one I'm going through is a new appointment for
Okay.
one that we did receive. We just received another one, but it was a little too late to get on the agenda, so we'll be bringing that on the
So there's
24th
more
as
room
well.
for- Okay.
Yeah, I would love to have it at max capacity. It is difficult in getting a quorum established. We don't have the regular established meetings that has been something before my time. You know, like Historic Preservation Board and all of our other committee boards within the city meet on a set, day of the month on there, whereas the Economic Development Board is more as kind of as needed. Well, we've been needing those meetings a lot more, so having 10 would help out, I think, in getting a quorum so we can get more consistent monthly meetings with that. So
Okay.
we do still have it advertised. We're not at quite capacity of 10 yet.
I'll make a motion, we reappoint Amanda Pop.
I'll second.
Bondegaard,
Yes.
Radcliffe,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Bergman,
Yes.
Coons.
Yes.
EDCAC appointment.
So Nathan Schumacher has submitted an application for appointment to the Economic Development Citizens Advisory Committee. Nathan is currently a loan officer at Points West Community Bank and has experience in commercial lending with a particular focus on small business in Sydney and the surrounding areas. In addition, Nathan is an active member of the Cheyenne County Chamber of Commerce, where he serves on the Agribusiness Committee. In this role, he assists with organizing events, vetting sponsors, and supporting marketing and advertising efforts. So it is recommended that council approve the appointment of Nathan Schumacher to the Economic Development Citizens Advisory Committee for the initial 4-year term. And this would bring us to 8 committee members.
Nathan is here, not here? Not here, okay. So we don't get to grill him. Dang it. Okay.
We did invite him and let him know that he was going to be here. He said he would try, but
That's all
we'll
good.
notify him.
No, we just always appreciate people wanting to
Yep.
step up and
absolutely.
be on these boards and make a difference in the community, for sure.
Yep.
Is there a motion for Nathan?
I'll motion.
I'll second.
Radcliffe,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Bergman,
Yes.
Coons.
Yes.
Bondegaard.
Yes. Downtown power plant generators. Tom.
Evening, Council. Tom Mathine, Electrical Superintendent. And I'm just here to have an open discussion about the old power plant downtown. So with our new generation plant scheduled to become operational in this March, the existing generators at the downtown power plant will no longer be required. These units have served the city reliably, but with a new facility coming online, they have become surplus to our needs. I respectfully request the council's authorization to put these old generators up for competitive bid. In addition to potentially generating revenue for the city, this process will allow us to see if there's any interest from outside parties willing to remove the equipment from the downtown power plant. Upon approval, staff will prepare a detailed bid and oversee a formal bidding process in compliance with all city procurement policies. The sale of the generators through a competitive bidding process has the potential to generate revenue for the city. While the exact amount will depend on the market interest and bid results, this process provides an opportunity to recover a portion of the city's investments in these assets. I would like to recommend having the old generators put up for a bid process. And a little history behind this, I've kind of been picking at Josh's brain about it, and I was talking with Josh. I'm like, what's the plan with these? What do you guys want to do? And we're like, we don't know. And I've heard people talk about possibly a museum. One person thought it'd be nice to have coffee in there on Saturday mornings, but that might be a little dangerous. So that's why we kind of talked about maybe bring it to you guys. And this is just one of the ideas I had, because there's a company in Texas that's been reaching out to me for about a year now. They want to pay some money for these, but I said we have to go through a bid process if we do this. But I was just going to leave it an open discussion for tonight. If you guys had any ideas, and then if we do a bid process, we don't have to, I don't think we have to say if it's really low, yeah, we'll do it. I mean, where they're sitting, they're not hurting anything, so, but it would be nice to get them out of there if we could. But if you guys have any ideas or questions.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm just kind of curious to know what the value is for these old generators. Like, I'm not the dollar amount, but like, how old are they? Like, are they still viable, or would somebody look to strip?
And they ran.
A gentleman told me 2009 was the last time they ran.
I'll say when I toured it, I don't think there's a chance to even get them started. The oil's
No.
been drained, everything's been drained out of them, and
They used to test them monthly years ago, I think before 2009. And When one gentleman was working here, he said that was really scary, and they probably shouldn't have done that. And I've been, there was a gentleman, he spent 20 years working there, and right now there's only one unit that would work out of 5 of them, and they range from 1931 to the 1950s. So they've definitely lived their life. Don't get me wrong, it would be a really nice museum, but it's dangerous in there. And
You're funny.
yeah. I love it. It's great. There's a lot of history in there, but there's so many ways a guy can get hurt. You can fall, and I mean, it's a long ways down. I'm sure you guys have all seen the inside of it,
Yeah.
but if not, let me know. So, but yeah, 1931 is the oldest unit.
So do you think somebody could just strip it for materials off of it?
Yeah, the people in Texas that keep reaching out, that's what they do for a living. They strip it for material, and there is a company in South Dakota that still uses these units. So PowerTech, who's helping us out with the new generation right now, they were going to look into that for me too and see if they would have any use for those parts.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a shame to, I don't know.
How big are they? Like, I mean, are they like each, like, I just want to know, are they the size of a bus? I mean, what are we talking about here? Yeah.
You're talking
One of them
battleship
is.
engines.
Yeah, battleship in, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good way. I think you need a tour. So,
So is there like, what's the logistical challenge of even getting them out of the building?
Yeah.
yeah.
Already put one out, one in.
Yeah.
Five in here. It's
Yeah.
short.
And I think,
Sounds like fun.
there's pictures floating around somewhere where they took a wall out to put some of the units in, but the contractor, some of them will just tear them to pieces and get them out of there.
Yeah.
But that's why, if they want to try, and that's a lot of work.
Yeah.
I just don't know what else to.
I mean, could we scrap them out too, or
I don't know. I just didn't know if that was legal or not if we did it.
I don't know if we could, or
I mean, yeah, I kind of think, what the
I
heck, you
don't know
know?
the answer to that
I don't know if the
question.
safety aspect of
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
would
that's
be
true.
the.
I mean,
Torches
you're
and-
talking these are suspended from in the middle of the room.
yeah, let somebody else take that liability.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one crane in there's bent because of how much that thing weighed, so.
Yeah.
Well, you're talking pistons, not pistons.
Yeah.
If you guys ever want to see it, the gentleman that used to work in there, he's still here, and he gives a really good tour of the place. He's full of education on them.
Yeah.
But it's kind of nice to go walk around and look at compared to the new generation plant, how much it's really changed. So,
I don't know, I mean, I guess
I
I
think
don't
the
see
id-
the harm
and we can
in
sure
putting
table
up.
it too. I'm just bringing it to you guys.
I mean, I don't see the harm in going for bid and seeing it, how much we can get out of them.
Yeah.
Even if it's nothing, someone takes them off our hands.
Yeah.
Like Cat, they talked to me. They wanted us to pay them to take them out of there. And there was one other company, I can't remember. They kind of laughed at me when I said, "Well, how much are you going to pay us?" And they laughed. It's like, "No, you will pay us to take those out." And
And this company's fine with paying us and coming and getting them all out?
yes, yep. They said they would have a bid in by next week. They're really eager to get after it. So
I mean, I'm fine for opening up with the bid. You guys?
and I would come back. I don't know how long we let it sit, a month or.
We gotta run it in the paper twice a week, 2 weeks, 15
Okay.
days minimum.
So I would come back, or I don't know how that works, but
Get
somebody
it
would
in March.
come back in March with the bids. We could talk about it again.
Okay, well, I gotta see them before they go.
Yeah,
you
we'll
know.
do a tour.
Is there a way that we can have Marshall kind of take a look at that to see what that safety aspect, if you'd ever turn that into a museum, what it would be for guardrails and stuff like that, or?
Well, just cleanup would be quite pricey. Then building maintenance would even be more so. And, you know, I don't know if these things are empty and still leaking or what, but yeah, it'd be viable, but it would cost some money to do it too.
Okay.
You know.
Okay. I don't know if there's some ideas that we could throw out at the same time that we get those bids to kind of weigh the option if a museum would be cool. If not, I mean, financially, it's an aspect of it too, so.
I say, why not? Let's give it a try.
Give it a try.
You know,
What's gonna
so,
yeah.
so yeah, I mean, I'll motion to put those downtown power plant generators up for bid.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Lee,
Yes.
Kirkman,
Yes.
Coons,
Yes.
Vondergaard,
Yes.
Radcliffe.
Yes.
Perfect.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks, Tom.
Thank you, Tom. Crack seal machine purchase, Kyle.
Evening, Council. Kyle Long, Street Department. Here to talk to you about continuing the process of looking for a new crack sealer for the Street Department. Our current one is a 1996 model. It's broken as we speak. And instead of throwing more parts at it right away, we had option of a used one in the budget if we found one. I contacted both dealers, 2 dealers in Nebraska, the only 2 dealers that I could find, and asked them if they had any viable options for a used crack sealer for us as a replacement to the one we have. I got 2 quotes back. Both salesmen seemed eager to help us out because they don't normally sell used ones. They go into a rental fleet and then to auction after so many years. But they found us 2 that were within our budget, at least 2. And I said the lower the better, because it's a very important maintenance item for us, but it's something we don't need new. We'd be fine with a used one. And so I'd like to move forward in the process of talking to Rose Equipment on this 2022 Simline crack sealer for $29,950 with 1,100 hours on it. And we chose that one over the other one just based on the hour difference, because they're basically the same, different sizes, but same. They both do the same thing. And just the hour difference, 800 hours for us is years worth of use. So we'd like your approval to move forward in this process.
Is the picture of the orange one in here the one that we have now?
No,
That's the other one you're considering?
that's the other used one, yes. And that one was like 26,000. 700 more hours, roughly.
26,000.
So we're buying the black one.
Yep, the black.
Want to buy the black one.
Yep. And it would come out of equipment reserve.
Have you guys seen these firsthand yet, or no?
What's that?
Have you guys seen these firsthand?
No, and that would be before we would seal the deal. We'd like to go eyes and ears on it. We're not gonna buy it sight unseen. So, and it's gonna be operational when we go see it. That's gonna be one of our things. We need to see it run.
What does one of these go for brand new?
67,000 for the black one. That's the state bid this year for the black one. So, and the black one is, as you know, we have a crack seal crew that comes into town and does, that black one is actually one that they used. They trade them in every year. And so it's one that they used a couple years ago. So. That's all I got for you.
I don't have
Ball's
any
in your
questions.
court
Pretty
now.
straightforward. You laid it out, trying to save us some money out of your budget. That's good.
Say thanks for looking for used stuff and realizing that it's going to sit and we're not going to get the value out of it. So thanks for looking for ways to save.
Yeah.
No problem.
Is there a motion for a crack seal machine for the
I
street?
will motion that we approve the purchase of the crack seal machine.
Second.
Kirkman,
Yes.
Coons,
Yes.
Bondegard,
Yes.
Radcliffe,
Yes.
and Lee.
Yes.
Thank you.
Consideration of updates to ordinance under chapter 268. Josh.
All right. Good evening again, Mayor, City Council, Josh Hanson, Interim City Manager. So just this agenda item is intended to address and kind of some clarification for some long-standing confusion regarding the governance structure of the city's public library and the role of the library board. So since November, myself and Jimmy have met several different times. Our library director had several different discussions regarding the interpretation of the Nebraska Revised Statutes and Sydney Ordinance and the way our city ordinance is reflected in the creation, authority, and governance of the public library and its board. Through these conversations, it did become apparent that there are differing interpretations as far as what we have within our ordinance and what's written in the actual statute. Now, whether that's Chapter 51 or whether that's under Chapter 16. Obviously, we need to enhance our ordinance side of things with that, and that has become apparent with both of our conversations. So during that same period of some of these different discussions, I did receive documents outlining required and recommended amendments to the that the library director and library board, and I believe the library commission was on that as well. And after reviewing some of that, some of those recommendations were the revisions to Sydney ordinance under chapter 268, which governs the library board. So with any ordinance that anyone comes up, whether it's a city staff, whether it's a board, whether it's a community member, if there is any request to revise any of our standing ordinances, I have the obligation to make sure that I am providing every option to council. This is not an opportunity for me to take over the board or to change the board whatsoever. To answer your question, Ethan, because I know council cannot answer during public session, nothing that the board did wrong either. Any sort of ordinance revision that comes up, I have to provide council with every legal option available. It doesn't matter who it comes from. It doesn't matter what the intent is. I have to do that for council. Just wanted to make that clear. So the purpose of this agenda, as I've just mentioned, is to provide background and context so that mayor and city council can determine the appropriate governance structure for the library board prior to updating any city ordinance. On Nebraska law, cities of the first class have the option to establish either a governing library board or an advisory library board. Clarifying the structure is necessary before revisions for Chapter 268 can proceed. Some previous action, the creation and composition of the Sydney Library Board was originally established by Code 20.8 in 1958. These provisions were revised by Ordinance Number 842 in 1974, and again by Ordinance Number 960 in January of 1980. The regulations adopted in 1980 remain in effect today, and that's what we have within our ordinance, along with the original adoption of 1958. So many of the ordinances contained within Chapter 268 have remained unchanged since their original adoption. Most date back, as I mentioned, to 1958, while the other most recent of 1988. So as a result, the majority of our current ordinances under this chapter have not been updated for approximately 46 to 68 years. Additionally, the ordinances establishing the library are missing critical language found in Nebraska Revised Statutes. The absence of this language has contributed to confusion regarding the respective roles and responsibilities of not only the city, but the library itself, which I believe we can agree upon that that's something that we've dealt with moving forward within these ordinances. So within that, for the cities of the first class, those with more than 5,000 or one and not more than 100,000 inhabitants, Nebraska Revised Statute 16251 provides additional authority regarding library governance. Under that state law, communities with fewer than 5,001 inhabitants are required to have governing library boards. We are a city of first class. So again, when I stated at the beginning, any time a request for revisions of an ordinance is brought to my attention, I need to make sure that I am following and providing counsel with every legal avenue to proceed down with any sort of ordinance revisions. With us being the city of the first class, that option does exist to go under the Nebraska State Statute of 16251. Boards organized under Chapter 16 are advisory rather than governing. Advisory boards recommend policies and regulations, while final administration authority rests with the city administration and city council, just as Ethan has presented earlier. An advisory board is appointed by the governing body of which the library is a unit. The specific duties and responsibilities of the board depend on the laws and ordinances under which the library was created. In most instances, an advisory board serves as a liaison between the community and the governing board to promote the library services and programs. So with my recommendation, and again, the purpose we're providing the detailed background information on the Chapter 51-201, which is the governing model of the Nebraska State Statute for library boards, and the 16251, which is the advisory state statute in establishing a library board, is to again ensure that mayor and city council are aware of the two governance options available prior to updating the ordinances under Chapter 268 for library board. As currently written, Chapter 268 does more closely align with the establishment of the governing library board. However, like I mentioned, the ordinance is missing critical language contained in the Nebraska Revised Statute under Chapter 51 that would need to be incorporated to clearly align the city's ordinance with the state law for a governing board. Alternatively, the city council may choose to revise the ordinance to establish the library as an advisory board, as outlined in Nebraska Revised State Statute under Chapter 16. Under this structure, the library board would serve in advisory capacity with final administrative authority resting with the city's governing body and administration. And again, for the benefit of the mayor and city council, I did include within your packet the roles and responsibilities of both those governing and advisory boards that was pulled directly from the Nebraska Library Commission's website. So I hope you had time to review that when the packets got submitted out there. But again, just kind of wanted to showcase that. So in ending with this, we've been operating in what I'd call a legal gray area with the city and how the function of the library. So the way our ordinance is written, again, does align with Chapter 51, which is fine as a governing board. However, the way the administrative role of the city is playing out does not follow that Nebraska State Statute under 51 and does fall under an advisory. So there is a little bit of a hybrid going on. It's been going on for years that, in my opinion, has caused confusion. As a new interim city manager and new to the city, it's definitely caused confusion with me on there. So what we're looking for today is a clear direction of how we can update these ordinances appropriately so that we can define those roles and responsibilities and have that accountability in place. When I say we're operating in a legal gray area, is yes, we budget out through the general funds to the library to support those operations on top of the $90,000 that the county commissioners provide for that support as well too. And yes, anything that is budgeted and allocated to the library board, they do have full fiscal responsibility of those expenditures on there. However, on the back side of things, we do put us at certain risks for the administrative oversight of that. Currently, as a governing board, we are still falling back on the city for the administrative process, whether that's payroll, deducting taxes, retirement, city benefits, finance directors, and budgeting side of things. So that can get murky the way our current ordinance is written. That is my clear intent today, is to find the avenue that we need to proceed to have a clear ordinance so that we can remove some of these potential barriers that we're seeing on the city administration side and the board side of that library. And before I answer any questions, I do want to invite our library director, Jimmy, up, and also Tanya, the board president, because I know, like I mentioned before, there's different interpretations of everything, so I'd like them to have the opportunity to kind of present where they're coming from on their side with it.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Jimmy Ridnour with the Sydney Public Library. I'm the director. Before addressing agenda item 9, I need to place important clarification on the board. Oops. I submitted a memorandum for inclusion in tonight's packet that was not included. I'd like to bring this up to you guys and give you a chance to read it, if you would.
me look at this?
Which one that she handed out?
Okay.
Okay. So sum it up for us so everybody can hear.
The agenda materials frame this discussion as a choice between maintaining a governing board or converting the library board to an advisory board under Chapter 16. That framing assumes council has discretion to choose between governance models. The issue before you tonight is that under state law, that discretion does not exist where Chapter 51 applies. Sydney's own city code already establishes how the library board operates. Chapter 268 creates the library board and traces its origin to the 1958 city code. It grants the board exclusive control over library fund expenditures and library property, authority over staffing, and responsibility for submitting the annual report in February. Chapter 268 also explicitly cross-references Nebraska Revised Statute, Chapter 51. Those are not advisory board functions. They are governing board powers. Chapter 16 has been cited as a basis for treating advisory board status and as an option. Chapter 16, including Section 16-251, authorizes cities of the first class to establish and maintain public libraries. It does not provide authority to remove or reassign powers vested in a governing library board under Chapter 51. Chapter 16 is an enabling authority. Chapter 51 is a governing authority where it applies. Chapter 16 does not override Chapter 51. The interim city manager's memo notes that Chapter 268 is missing or inconsistent with certain Chapter 51 provisions. That observation supports alignment, not reclassification. An inconsistency between local ordinance and state statute does not create discretion to change governance. It creates an obligation to bring the ordinance into compliance with the state law. In addition, the library board has entered binding agreements in its capacity as a governing board, including the interlocal agreement with the county under the Nebraska Interlocal Cooperative Act. That agreement identifies that the library board as a party provides ongoing funding for library services and reflects reliance on the board's governing authority. Changing the board's legal status would raise contractual and financial implications that cannot be resolved through ordinance revision alone. Given that the alignment work that Josh had discussed, the alignment work was already in progress, I, along with the library board and the members of the community, are asking why this issue was brought to council rather than resolved through the ordinance alignment process that the city manager and the city attorney we were already working through. Do you have any questions for me on that?
So do we see that there's a problem between the ordinance and how it's set up, right?
Correct.
Okay, and so in order for that ordinance to finally be corrected, it has to come to council, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so we're working through those then, right?
We're working.
That's the goal.
Okay,
No,
okay.
you're fine. The item that we had been starting the work session wasn't the topic of the governing or the advisory board, but the wording in the other ordinances is what we were trying to tackle first. Getting that alignment under the state statute.
All right, well, I guess I just want to know what's going on. Like, I'm just curious to know, like, I get it. We want to be sort of clear about whose lanes and what lane, right?
Yeah.
Like, so, because I think you can still operate with a pseudo hybrid model, like, but you know, me, I think I operate in the gray area most of the time as a salesperson. So like that's, I'm
I
like,
think Jimmy and I are both on the same page. We're not good at operating in the gray area.
yeah, yeah. I mean, like, I got a quality manager that he's only black and white, right? So, like, I understand that these things are out there, right? But I guess I just want to know, because I heard Ethan, you know, he gave a really good, this is why you want to have a governing, which I guess if it's to stay that way, are we saying we still need to amend this ordinance? Okay, so
Yeah.
so we still need to amend. So I guess what are we trying to accomplish? Like, is council's job here to determine tonight if we're going to go, okay, it makes most sense to go governing or advisory? Like,
I mean, you guys have to make, the council has to make the overall decision. That's not something I can make. That's not
sure.
something
But like, I'm like, that is the directive.
That is the directive.
Okay.
The alternative on there would be to draft two separate ordinances. One that's focused more on Chapter 51 through the governing model, and the other that's focused on, Chapter 16 of the advisory model. But as I mentioned, I'm not going to make it standard practice of coming up and giving half information when there's a
Yeah,
request.
well, okay, so let me ask you this question. So if this stays like as a governing body, does the library board have total control over its budget?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's what sits in the Chapter 51.
Okay. And then you don't have a take on the budget then?
We'd work through it, but that's where some of the gray areas are. In my research on there, I mean, I can't say even a lot, and Ethan might know more than I do on this side of things, with governing boards operating on their own mill levy, similar to how the authority board operates at the airport on there. Now, where we're supplementing with, I mean, I think 83% of their budget with the general fund, that's taxpayer dollars on there. So that's not a mill levy that's set aside specifically for the library that they're collecting. That's budgeted out of the general fund from taxpayer dollars, just like we do police, parks, and all of our general fund departments on there. So we have a lot of fiscal oversight of those funds. If there are situations that we need to cut funding down on there, I mean, there's situations we just need to have conversations about good budgeting practices and stuff like that. We can go to the chief, we can go to Chase with Parks and have these good conversations with there. The way that some of these ordinances are dictated, it's confusing as far as, do we have that ability to have those conversations and good budget practices through the general fund on there? Where it's a mill levy, that's set obviously at a certain cent from the mayor and council. And at that point, they receive those appropriations, and that's their money. That's their library fund on there. Whereas we are allocating that directly from the general fund instead of its own mill levy.
So if it goes to a mill levy setup, does the taxpayer get more visibility directly as to what's happening within the library? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, right now, it's underneath the general fund. Like, does the public have access to the same visibility the way that it is right now as if you had it separate as its own mill levy?
Well, I mean, yeah, they still have to fall under the Opens Meetings Act because they're still receiving public funds to operate.
Well, I'm just like talking from a standpoint of like, I think taxpayers want to know where their money's going, right? Like, okay, so how much money's going to the library? Like, is that clear? Is it like totally?
I think so. And Kagan provides the budget session every year. We have it posted on our website. I mean, it's $562,000 that was budgeted for this fiscal year for the
Okay.
library.
So it's
And
clear no
90,000
matter
of that
what,
is
so
from the
it's,
county.
so it's clear in the general fund, it's clear in the mill levy is a separate thing, right? Like, it's totally clear either way you go, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm just trying to wrap my
Oh,
head
no, you're
around
fine.
all of it. Okay, so, yeah, I guess I just don't know what the issue is, right? Like, so, you know, if it stays as it's a governing body, right, like, we can still work together within the framework of the budget, right? Like, hey, if there's cuts that need to happen, you know, like, maybe they end up going in library, unfortunately, right? Like, the way that it's set up right now, if we have a scenario where, gosh, we got to make some cuts somewhere, do you have the authority to say like, hey, you know, the cuts got to, okay, because that's going to come out of you, right?
The governing board.
Yeah. the
Yeah,
governing
as a
board would bring
governing
it.
board, right? So you can kind of see where the dilemma is from that angle. Like, well, I think we heard all the positive as far as governing from Ethan, but the advisory, if it stays that way, it's just the budgetary oversight, I think, is the issue.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I think if you just kind of boil it down, it's sort of that, right? But does it require us to make like this huge ordinance change, right? Like, is there not a way to sort of like, you can say this is the lane, right? Like the budgetary things are at the guidance of the city, right? And everything else that Ethan mentioned earlier still falls underneath the library, and we can just make it a clear path that direction. Is that not a possibility, or does it just have to be, it's like, it's either it's governing or it's advisory, and that's it?
No, I totally get where you're coming from, and the only reason the perfect the wording on the ordinances got brought up is discussions that we had with the city attorney and the interim city manager on what does this mean? And we all came to agreement that we need to perfect the wording in the ordinance, and so we started that whole work session. Like, what would it look like? So I reached out to the Library Commission, the board. We just started that process on how big of a change it would even be. And then we're here on the agenda.
Yeah.
So we didn't even get a chance to look at how big or little it was going to be in going forward. I didn't even think that changing to an advisory board was even on the horizon. So I was going straight down to perfect the wording in the ordinance to match the state statute. And so that's where we started, and then we got put on the agenda. So that
Sure. So can the city still have total budgetary oversight into what you're doing as still being a governing body?
yeah, of course. Like the way that it's set up
Okay.
now is I'm supposed to create the budget, just like, you know, any of the other things. I
like
take
any
it to
other department,
take it
sure,
into the board. We perfect it, and then we bring it to you guys. Just like, I think the only year that it got skipped that way is this year. So, and there was never a problem before.
Okay.
So continuing to operate like that is where I'm confused why there needs to be a change on the governing board, whether it's governing or advisory. There hasn't been an issue.
Yeah. Josh?
And
No, I mean, I agree as well. But like I've said a couple of times now, that when any adjustments to an ordinance are created, I have to do my research and provide all options. That is not my intent of coming in and said, you need to go this way or that way. It is I have to provide, as the
Sure.
city manager, all information to council when we're looking at doing any lawful changes to our city code on there.
Okay.
It is no different that I mentioned than doing the chicken ordinance and working
Yeah.
with Sierra and working with the public to draft that up. Leaving here today, we can work towards that, whatever model council decides to on
Okay.
there. And like Jimmy said, yes, we were working together here, but this is a critical piece of the puzzle before we can really get anything done. We could have been spending the last 3 months on working on this and bring it here and it just crashed and died. There may be something that council didn't want whatsoever. So this is a critical piece of the puzzle before we can get to where we need to start working on whatever revisions to the ordinance need to be done.
Okay.
To streamline things and move it forward.
So we can operate in a hybrid model, right? Like, that's the question I'm asking, is like, can
Possibly.
we just say, like, we have budgetary oversight? That's it, right? You guys can run it however you want, you know, but we have control over the actual budget.
That would take, I think, an interlocal agreement, because the way that chapter 51 is worded on there can be construed that that's not acceptable.
Right.
That the library has full control over their expenditures.
Yeah. So again, I'm back in the same quandary, which is like, you guys are making us decide.
And it may
it's
work
this
between
or
Jimmy and
this.
I, but if I leave and Jimmy leaves, those next people could be right back to where we
I
started
think
here today.
that's where a lot of our problems are with every single committee that we have, whether it's historic or whatever other boards, there's never a clear line on how things are supposed to go. I would like to, lawyers' advice here on there, if there's an issue with how the ordinance is written and how it's being ran, I think to protect us in the city and the taxpayers, and I know that majority of the people on their board are all taxpayers and they want to see their funds their taxes being used how it should be, and I'm pretty sure that's right. I would like to see that ordinance written up to correlate legally to make sure that there is no gray area on how things should be done.
But then
That protects everybody.
That involves making a decision to be, it's either you're going by chapter 16 or you're going by chapter 51. If I'm hearing things correctly, that is,
Yes.
Right.
that is, yeah, so that's where
In
we're
order
at.
for us to get anything accomplished, that we need to decide which route council would like to go so that we can work on getting the ordinance established for that. And if there's any interlocal agreements that we need to accompany one way or the other, then that's something that we can do part of the process as well.
Now, with the interlocal agreements, we do payroll, we do insurance, is that all going to have to be on an interlocal agreement?
I think we need to
As
have that
a
on there to protect the city,
staff,
absolutely.
yeah.
Especially in the HR standpoint, because again, under chapter 51, the library board has exclusive control over the personnel. So they could go to HR and advise of a termination. HR could turn around and say, no, that's not a legal way to terminate an individual, and they do so anyway. That liability falls back on us at the city at that point. So we would need to have stuff stipulated in there for HR side of things, payroll side of things as well too, because that is our responsibility of the city.
How does that affect the audit that we go through every year?
We haven't had any issues on the general fund side of things that I'm aware of on there. I mean, general fund stuff, line items are broken out just like any other department. Kagan does a good job of going over there and speaking with them. If there's a notice, just like any other department, where you charge or you allocate out of the wrong line item to make that an educational side of things with that. So when we're looking at the general fund on the audit side of things with the city of Sydney, then we had no issues with that at all. They have their own separate account, Library Foundation. That has nothing to do with the city. That'll never have anything to do with the city. That is their own foundation board, correct, through a 501c3, and that is their own thing, completely separate from the city.
What are those funds used for?
The foundation,
Yeah.
the support of the library, equipment, whatever is needed.
Okay, so if there was like a shortfall or something like that, and that's easier to use that budget technically than to change the rest of the budget, correct?
Per se, I wouldn't.
Okay.
I wouldn't
Like
know
say,
without
we
having-
gotta go spend $15,000 instead of having Kagan try to figure out the budget. You guys could use those 15,000 to.
That'd be a good
change it.
option to go
Okay,
to
okay,
if they approved it. It
Okay.
would still be up for the foundation's approval.
Okay, all right.
Any more questions? Or?
Well, I guess my only question sitting here is, I would like things to continue to work as they are now. I want to throw a hypothetical at you. Let's say you come in next year and you want to double your budget. We're the ones that take the lumps for that, so we have to have some sort of ability to say, no, you're not going to double your budget.
Sure.
That's the only piece that I think I
Yeah.
want.
Yeah.
Is the ability to say, hey, we're in charge of this. We have to put the mill levy out there and we take all the lumps for it. We don't want your double budget to double or whatever. I'm not saying you would do that. I'm
Sure.
just throwing that hypothetical out there. Other than that, I want you guys to operate like you've
Sure.
been doing. I mean,
Well, and I think that the way that anybody with operating any kind of budget would know if it's not there and we don't need it and we can operate like we are, there's no need to ask for double. The only time that would be ever an issue is half of the building fall down and we would need to say, hey, this is what we need to do. So, being responsible for that budget, I would know that's not, I couldn't even pull a rabbit out of a hat if that was where I was coming from, so. And that would be on my watch. Another director coming in, I get what you're asking.
Is there any more comments or questions?
I think what Eric pointed out, that the way it's set up, now there's educated people running it. The other way, there may not be as those guidelines, correct?
Correct.
Like I'm with Burke on it, kind of just like figure out the legal side of it, make sure that we are following the guidelines, that there is no gray area, and work on it, I guess. If that makes sense.
Yeah, but you still have to decide, right?
Yeah,
This one, or is it this one, right?
because we wouldn't have no financial say if it's 51, right? Chapter 51.
Well,
That's
these
really cool.
discussions, like we just talked about there, if we can look at the interlocal agreement or an intercooperative agreement side of things with that. That would be my only concern on that side, because the way it is stipulated on there, we are reliable on the audit side for the general fund, no matter what, no matter where it goes to, or how we allocate it out on there. So it does concerns me that on the chapter 51 side of things, it does have control of all expenditures on that side of things. Again, for Library Foundation, that's completely away from the city. That's theirs. They do what they want. We have no arguments with that at all. But when we come to the general fund side of things, I would like to see an interlocal agreement that protects us on the budgeting side of things and expenditure side of things, especially when we're facing in FY '26 a potential loss in general funds with everything that's going on at state level right now. Don't want to speak too soon on it because there's still conversations with the municipal equalization fund. But we do know of almost $300,000 that we will be paying back for the Advantage Act and the Imagine Act on there. Other things that come down the state could affect us more in the general fund. That's not only the library budget, that's our police budget, that's our fire, that's our parks. That's where my concern lies,
So-
is being able to be flexible when we absolutely need to in a dire situation.
So there's another element here, which is the interlocal agreement. Is that what I'm hearing? So
That's nothing that's within a statute at all. I mean, well, they have an interlocal agreement statute itself that we could look at entering into with the city and the board, council and the board.
So why don't we look at that first? Right?
We
Like,
still need to revise regardless of of our statute to add more information, whether it's chapter 51 or chapter 16. We still have to provide more information in our ordinance because it is very bleak.
sure. So like, I'm in favor of 51, let them have their own governing body, but I like, if we can have that other element in there, which is an interlocal agreement that gives you kind of the budgetary power, if you will, I think maybe, does that solve the issue? Right? I mean,
I
it
don't
does
like the
for
word,
me.
I don't like the word power, yes, yeah, but I mean, we
Yeah.
would include more, it'd be the payroll side of things, HR, all of the administrative functions from the city in supporting the library, since we do not have the overall governance of the library itself that we would need to incorporate in that interlocal, but yes.
Or do we
Answer
just
the
give
question
them
well.
their own mill levy and let them do it themselves? Or could we do
I mean,
that?
again, that's,
I mean,
I can't make that decision.
yeah.
I like your idea.
Yeah, so do
What's up?
So 51
One.
with the
Interlocal
thing in there that helps with budgetary stuff as far as payroll and everything else.
You can also ask for a legal opinion if you would like on clarification between chapter 16 and chapter 51 and table this until the next meeting.
That's not a bad idea
Yeah,
either, right?
yeah, it sounds like a great idea.
'Cause that's where our gray area is. We're not 100% sure, so let's seek legal counsel.
Yeah, let's table it until next meeting.
But you guys aren't holding up on anything, right? As far as how things are being run and whatnot, it's just
No.
okay.
No,
Okay.
So a motion to table for lawyer advice or
Legal
Legal
counsel.
Legal
Yeah.
review.
legal point of view?
Yeah, I guess I'll motion the table for a legal point of view.
Second.
Can we invite somebody to that? Mr. Nelson or somebody to that conversation where we can ask them questions on how those two are going? Or
Is it legal?
She's gonna be talking to lawyers.
okay, never mind. Then.
Completely legal,
I'll
yeah.
quit talking.
Okay. Got a motion, got a second?
Who's the second? Burke?
Lee
Nope.
Radcliffe.
Me.
or Ratcliffe?
Coons,
Yes.
Bondegaard,
Yes.
Radcliffe,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Kirkman.
Yes.
Okay. Sydney Public Library Annual Report, Jimmy.
The annual report, this information, was for the fiscal year October 1st, 2024 through September 30th, 2025. During October 2024 through September 2025 fiscal year, the Sydney Public Library continued to serve as a critical educational, informational, and community hub for the residents of Sydney and the surrounding service area. The library operations and reporting are provided in compliance with Nebraska Revised Statute 51-213. Key highlights from the reporting period include total collection. This number is skewed because of the data collection that was done in that fiscal year, but it shows 89,880 items. That spans adult, juvenile, reference, and audiovisual materials. 155 library-operated programs serving 1,908 participants across children's, teens, adult, and general interest programming. We had a strong emphasis on early literacy and young and youth engagement with 117 programs serving children ages 0 to 11. Continued reliance on in-person service delivery reflecting the community demand for on-site and outreach-based programming. Circulation activity and usage metrics will be finalized and added upon confirmation of year-end circulation totals. Financial report, under Nebraska Revised Statute 51-213, all money received, credited, and expended. The funds received and credited, financial revenues for the Sydney Public Library were accounted for within the city's general fund and tracked by the city finance director. Detailed revenue line items are maintained by the city's year-end financial records. The city appropriation for that fiscal year was $572,625. County funding was $90,000. State aid received was $2,300. Federal grants was $0. Library received donations, and this is approximate, coming from a spreadsheet, $87,949. Fees and miscellaneous revenue was reported in city records. We don't have the total received, missing that information. Under B, funds expended, financial records and accounting for the Sydney Public Library during that fiscal year reporting period were maintained by the city finance director due to the absence of the library director or an office manager, during which time the city manager served in an interim capacity. The financial information presented below reflects the city's year-end budget and expenditure records for the library operations. Total library operating expenditures was $509,686.92. Ending balances and fund carryover amounts are reflected within the city's general fund accounting and year-end financial statements and are maintained by the city finance director. The collection statistics under Nebraska Revised Statute 51-213, the number of items held as of September 30th, 2025. Reference items was 476, adult 25,904, juvenile was 24,046, audiovisual, meaning DVDs and media, was 39,454. Total collection, as I said, that number is skewed due to the reporting at that time of 89,880. The materials withdrawn throughout the year as part of a routine collection maintenance in accordance with the library collection development policy. Detailed weeding records are maintained internally. Circulation under NRS 51-213, the circulation and usage summary. Library adult circulation was 7,404. Library juvenile collection was 516. Library young adult circulation, 517. School juvenile circulation was 528. And school young adult circulation was 4. That total circulation, 8,969. Digital and technology usage, overdrive and ELS usage was 1,326. Public internet sessions was 5,056. And Wi-Fi sessions was 13,373. Our interlibrary loan numbers for that fiscal period, interlibrary loan requested was 82, interlibrary received was 52, and interlibrary lent was 161. Facility and surface service use, under total library visits, so our people count was 29,977. Bookmobile visits was 3,201. Meeting room usage, which is the Smith Room, was 216. The meeting room attendance was 791. Circulation and usage statistics reflect activity recorded in the library's integrated library system and statistical tracking reports for the October 2024 through September 2025 reporting period. Our programming and other statistics of general interest under NRS 51213, program summary by age group, ages 0 to 5. Programs held was 85, and the attendance for that is 721. Age group of 6 to 11, the programs held was 32, and the total attendance was 368. Ages 12 to 18, programs held was 4, and attendance is 0. Ages 19 plus, program held was 9, and total attendance was 85. General interest, all ages, was 25, and total attendance for that is 734. So total programs was 155 and 1,908 attendees. Our program delivery methods, in-person on-site was 146, attendance was 1,549, in-person off-site was 11, and attendance is 359. Live virtual was 0, and the attendance is 0. Pre-recorded was 0, and attendance was 0. So programming narrative, during the reporting period, the library delivered a broad range of programs designed to support early literacy, lifelong learning, and community engagement. Children's programming represented the largest service area, while adult and general interest programs provided opportunities for education, enrichment, and social connection. Programming statistics reflect the library-operated programs only. That concludes the report. Do you guys have any questions on that?
Sure, but you first. Are your numbers going down, do you know, for attendance-wise?
No, they're actually in just for that fiscal year, in the first quarter of this year, we've almost doubled it in one quarter.
Good.
Yeah, and that's with fixing the numbers, how it was skewed. It was pulling from a database, which it's like Libby, like Audible, so it was pulling more titles than we had. So that's how that number got skewed. But yes, we've almost doubled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On your budget here, on the library received donations, is that counting some of the 87,948? Is that some of the Bookmobile stuff that?
Yeah, I believe so. And that spreadsheet is straight from the finance director. When that was brought in, he put it on that spreadsheet, and that's how I was able to pull that.
Yeah, I just was wondering if that
Yeah,
had
yep.
Bookmobile stuff
Yep.
in it, so.
I have one question, just because I'm an accountant and I can't help not ask this. So I look at your receipts, you brought in $752,000 between your city, county, this library received stuff. We spent 510, so we have 242 left over. That's a lot. Is that a normal year, or is that an abnormal year? I'm just trying to figure, like, if that's a normal year, you guys can amass a lot of money over there in a few years.
Sure.
Just wondering.
No, of course, I would love to answer those questions. The only information I have on what would be normal is from when I got here this fiscal year to now. I would refer it to maybe Kagan, the finance director, but I think he was just catching what was thrown at him as well. I don't think we would have the information to be able to look back and say if that was normal. But definitely going forward, when I give you this annual report next year, I will have a little bit of that data to be able to.
Well, I would think if this has been happening over the years, you've got a cash balance over there that's pretty high. So I would think that would be the telltale sign.
What was the amount that you got said?
I got 752,000 in revenue and 510 in expense. So there's like 242 left, which is about a third of their revenue.
Well,
Appropriation would have been the budgeted point of expense last year. So they spent an actual amount unaudited, no adjusting entries of 509, 686, 92. But their budgeted appropriations would have been the 572, 625. That's not a cash received situation.
Oh, the 572 isn't.
No.
Okay. Thank you.
No, that wouldn't have been a revenue for us on a general fund side.
Okay.
So the revenue side that would be, into the, like on a general fund aspect, the small categories that they have is the county interlocal agreement for library use bookmobile, and the state aid, and then any like copies, like miscellaneous admin work that they do on their side that's deposited that we cash receipt. That would be the only revenues that we would see. And I could break out a historical basis if
No,
that's
it's okay.
required here.
Thank you.
Of course. Any other questions?
You guys have anything exciting happening like in the near future, like to build things that?
To
That was
build
my
things?
Yeah, I mean, not to build things, but to get more traffic through there. My kids are all starting to like, it's all phones, right? So how do you guys look in to get more kids in there to look at books and that stuff?
Sure. So our outreach right now, we have, so one of the programming that was at zero, it was virtual and pre-recorded, was zero for last fiscal year. Now we've got a couple of programs that are spanning, which is Sarah's Story Time, and that's already getting like 4,000 views a month to bring more kids into Story Time that maybe people didn't know about. We did just receive a grant. By the way, there's a pizza party next Wednesday if you guys want to come to celebrate that grant. And they're bringing, that grant was for the Children's Innovation. That will be used to purchase more ELS computers, and expand our young adult collection and the bookmobile collection. So that grant alone was only for, to expand our children's area. So, does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, just like trying to figure out how we get more people in there when
Yeah.
when everything is going to computers. So
Yeah.
good.
So there's the opportunities. What are the risks for you guys in this fiscal year?
Risks, well, because I got here after the fiscal year already started, the only risk that I see as the director would be any kind of wiggle room in like building and maintenance. Last year, right when I got here, one of the HVAC units failed and we didn't have very much left. And already this year, the water fountain failed, and so then because I wasn't able to forecast any kind of area, I'm kind of just hoping that I can get by. That's the only risk that I've seen. Usually when I'm in a spot, I'm able to pull information from the last years and what might be happening. But when I came in, things were already in motion, so I didn't really have a chance to put that building and maintenance, what might happen in there. So I'm kind of just hoping we can float by this year, and then I'll have some area to forecast any kind of building and maintenance issues we'll have. But that's the only risk that I have seen so far.
Okay. Awesome.
Well, thank you for you and your board for all their hard work and
Of course, thank you.
a lot of time on it. So
Of course.
thank you.
January 2026 budget report, Kagan.
Oh, it's the newspapers.
Oh, my bad. Same for us.
Fair enough. All right. Good evening, Council, Finance Director Kegan Carwin. All right, gonna kind of jump around here a little bit because I know there was a request at the last meeting. So I'm gonna jump to the back on our year-to-date for all the departments on the very last page of my report. Brett had asked that we put in there kind of the revenue or the budgeted side of things. So what I've added there is the budgeted revenue, the budgeted expenses, and then percent of revenue of where they stand, and then percent of expense. Currently, we sit at a 34% fiscal year. So you'll see most of these are in a good situation as far as the expenses, and obviously a little down in the revenue side. So obviously some work to do there. Kind of jumping back to the front here again. General fund revenue breakdown. On the property tax DMV side, we're down 1.9 thousand from last year, or negative 1.3%. Property tax is primarily flat. The biggest decrease was the motor vehicles, with that negative 1.9 essentially. Sales occupation tax, this was down 34.8 K from last year, or a negative 17.6. This is an area where all categories within it decreased. Fees for service down 4.6 to last year, or negative 26.6%. Cemetery was the largest area of decrease here. State, federal, county was up $910 from last year, or 2.4%. All accounts were pretty much flat. The transportation reimbursement was kind of the growing point of this, up 1.8K. Franchise admin fees down 2.5 from last year, or a negative 4.9. This is mainly just a decrease in telephone and TV fees. And then on the other side, we're up 1,000 from last year, or 25.3%. This is just interest in our bank accounts. Correlation jumps back over to the year-to-date stuff as well. Obviously, when we lost out on that property or that sales tax to the Advantage Act is why we're seeing the different from last year to this year. So that was obviously detrimental to the budget. When we jump into revenues and expenditures for all departments, we had a negative 281,000 in the general fund, negative 62,000, and the street, negative 39, and the electric up positive 5,000 in water, negative 23 sewer, and a negative 61 in landfill. Now those numbers kind of correlate over into our overall year-to-date stuff, with general being down a million, street being a negative 284, electric being down 97, water negative 96, sewer negative 93, and landfill a negative 41. So we definitely have a lot of legwork to do this year. We talked this morning about trying to make sure we're being responsible with our financial policies and financial expenditures going forward. And I guess just maintaining the pace that we're on is obviously a little concerning. In the general fund side, that's obviously a hit to on that sales tax side of things, as well as into the street. On electric, water, sewer, landfill, I think with us being in our winter months, the slower time of year, same as last year, we'll see that these kind of turn around as we get into the heated season. People water their lawn, and start utilizing that water. Just kind of a point, we are in the sewer rate setting phase, so be diligent of any leaks or anything that you have going on with your water at this point in your residential homes or commercial buildings. So on the landfill side, obviously they've had some breakdowns which have increased on the budget side or I guess on the expenditure side, which hopefully we'll get that clarified, get those pieces of equipment fixed back into work, and we just don't see those massive expenditures. So any questions?
Well, Kagan, thanks for getting me what I was looking for. I guess I just wanted to see if that's beneficial for you guys there, because, I think we continue to look, we can see in the general fund kind of the percentage to budget, in the past, but then these proprietary functions in the street and electric, water, Just to kind of like, so here, if we're showing, here's our revenue versus expenditures, like, does it still line up with our budget, right? Like, are we still in alignment there? And that, for me, I thought was a kind of a helpful piece. I don't know about you guys. Burke, you're an accounting mind. What do you think?
Sure.
Sure?
You
Okay,
got the Burke answer.
so maybe. All right. Well, I
Makes you happy.
appreciated it. I thought the visibility, like, it's good to see that, and, good to have taxpayers see it too, so.
How do they figure out those franchise fees as far as like for cable and phone and stuff like that?
It kind of varies depending on like what it is we would be referring to. So like within the city, we relate it to infrastructure. So it's 5% of gross revenue. For us, that would be an audited point. So once our auditors come in, tell us this is what our gross revenue was, we would then, as the city, issue a payment from the proprietary functions to the general fund for, franchise fees of that 5%. Now, telephone fees, I believe that is set by a state statute at 3%. On a communication level, like TV, I'm trying to think of our fee schedule essentially, but like TV would be, set by our our master fee schedule that we put through every year. So it kind of varies to what we're looking at. So. Any other questions?
So there's no way to determine like how much they're actually like with infrastructure wise, what's in the ground. Am I reading that right? Like, how do we know why those fees falling? Why are they not?
It's all based off of revenue. So even for like your telephone fees, it's 3% of revenue.
Okay, so we
So
get
that
those
is
from
stipulated like that. And again, I'm
Okay,
pretty sure
I
telephone
gotcha.
fees is a state statute out there. I'd have to go back and double check and my work
That's
on
what
that,
those
but
companies are charging their customers, and then we receive that. Okay.
if they choose to pass it on, I mean, that's the company's business. I mean, or they can eat that 3%. I guess that's up to, Allo, T-Mobile, all those telephone companies out there to handle that side of their business. But that would be set at a statute level.
Okay.
Is there any more questions for Kagan?
Perfect. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Is there a motion to pass the budget?
Yeah, motion to have to accept
Accept
the
the
budget
budget. Yeah.
report.
After I said it.
I'll second it.
Bondegaard,
Yes.
Radcliffe.
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Bergman,
Yes.
Coons.
Yes.
January 2026 claims. I did them. They all look really great and everything checked out. Is there a motion?
I'll motion to approve the January 2026 claims.
I'd second that motion.
Radcliffe,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Bergman,
Yes.
Coons.
Yes.
Bondegaard.
Yes. City managers report.
Oh, I just one quick thing here. So we did receive notification from the Department of Transportation that we were not awarded the $4,317.85 for the Safe Streets for All grant. So they reduced that by, I think it was more than 75% of applications submitted during this funding was not selected. So we will have an opportunity, if council chooses to do so, to go after it this fiscal year, whenever they open that up. So I'm monitoring the website and emails, and when they do, open that up, I can bring it back forth to our council and see if that's something we want to try to pursue. But again, there was only 2 Nebraska cities that I saw received it, and that was Lincoln and Omaha. Out there, so.
Imagine that.
So unfortunately, but we will have another chance if we do decide to try to hit the last round.
Okay. Kim?
I don't have anything.
Kendra? Sam?
I think from the PD side, the two things we kind of got going on is we did just release and open up applications for the City Academy, so hopefully we can get some people that are interested in City Council. But that'd be a good opportunity for people to kind of come see what it is to be a police officer, kind of peek behind, get to know a little bit of transparency of what we actually are doing. The other thing that we kind of got going on is we put a little post out where we have a lot of trainings coming up starting probably next week. Sorry.
No, I'm sorry.
Yeah, can you start over? Sorry. I'm kidding. Just keep going, Sam.
I felt like I should sing. Yeah. So the other thing that we got going on is we have a lot of trainings coming to town starting next week. Next week will be the alert training. When we do these trainings, we do try to put out posts to kind of warn everybody that, hey, we're going to have blanks being fired. You're going to see tactical equipment. You're going to see tactical gear. You're going to see a lot of police presence. The reason that I like having these trainings here, and if we can house a lot of them, is A, it brings a lot of opportunity to Sydney for us to kind of get the training for our officers at reduced cost or free. Lieutenant Ruiz is actually bringing in some more bigger ones that are regional rise training, which is going to bring a lot of law enforcement personnel to the city, which is going to mean they're going to eat at our restaurants, stay in our hotels, and kind of just help build the economy up over here as well. The more we kind of make that hub is kind of what our goal is to be. I do apologize for any noise that we make and to the public and to you guys, but ultimately it's going to produce a better police department.
Kagan?
Tonight,
Got something? I gave you a bump steer this morning.
Oh,
We do have one project coming up.
there's,
We do have a project coming up. We will be tearing out another dip on Lodgepole Road and replacing it. So when it's get tore up, we're replacing the dip, so you know, you can tell your citizens when they ask you. I didn't think we had any, but we do.
Marshall?
I got nothing, thanks.
Tom?
Just a couple things. Engineering team will be here February 23rd to work on the generators. They're hoping to have that up and running, weather permitting, second week of March. And as of right now, we only have roughly 125 customers left to convert from overhead to underground. So right now, the linemen are tearing out the overhead lines, and hopefully this summer, get all the residents converted to underground.
tonight, we just jumped 69 views, and 17 of them are still with us. So, popular night.
Give it to Ruiz. Let him say. I did say your names. I did say your name right? Ruiz?
Yes, it's Ruiz. Not sure what you would like me to say. Sorry, I thought coming to Sydney as a lieutenant, I'd get out of speaking at city council. But
Well, not for your first one.
Yeah. Like Chief Lovato said, we're trying to bring a lot of trainings. This year, we're bringing the less lethal shotgun. We're also bringing in a drug interdiction course. And in 2027, we're looking to bring taser instructor, pepper ball instructor, and human trafficking. So there's a lot of things that we would like to touch on, especially having I-80 right there and the growth with the city and the police department. I'm just excited to be in a larger municipality and feel like my experience is going to be better utilized. So thank you guys for having me, and thank you guys for giving me the opportunity to serve the city of Sydney.
Does council get to come and play with guns with that kind of stuff, or is that an option?
You can look at him.
Joking.
I can look. I guess on the city manager search, CPS posted it January 16th. They'll do that for a month. They'll close the February 16th. And then as a committee, we'll look through those and start winging those down and hopefully get somebody in here. So bear with us, I guess. Thank you.
Brett?
Well, I thought that the firefighters banquet was a great event. You know, pretty big crowd of people. I don't know if all of the volunteers were there, but I thought it was a great event, and just support your volunteer fire department. You know, they're always looking for additional help or money, whichever you can get.
Rob?
I have nothing.
I did not have nothing either, so can I get a motion to adjourn tonight?
Motion to adjourn.
Kurtma?
Second.
Radcliffe.
Lee,
Yes.
Kirkman,
Yes.
Coons,
Yes.
Bondegaard,
Yes.
Radcliffe.
Yes.